I lived in the bamboo forest. It was green and beautiful. Bamboo grew everywhere. I loved to eat bamboo. I also loved to play.
Every day, Pete went on adventures. He explored every corner of the forest. He made new friends. Pete was a happy panda.
I loved to help my friends. If someone was sad, I cheered them up. If someone was lost, I helped them find their way.
One sunny morning, Pete was munching on bamboo. He saw his friend Sammy the squirrel. Sammy looked worried.
What's wrong, Sammy?
I lost my acorn. It was my favorite acorn. I was going to save it for a special day.
Sammy looked around frantically.
Don't worry, Sammy. I'll help you find it.
Pete was a kind panda. He wanted to help his friend. Pete and Sammy looked everywhere. They looked under the bamboo leaves. They looked behind the tall trees. They even looked in the stream.
But the acorn was nowhere to be found.
Pete started to feel discouraged. He wanted to find Sammy's acorn. Suddenly, Pete heard a chirping sound. It was a sound that seemed to come from the treetops, a gentle melody that caught his attention immediately. He had been walking through the forest, enjoying the peacefulness of the morning, when this unexpected noise made him stop in his tracks.
He looked up, his eyes scanning the branches above. The forest was dense, with leaves creating a canopy that filtered the sunlight into a soft green glow. Pete squinted, trying to locate the source of the chirping.
There, on a branch, was a little bluebird. Its feathers were a vibrant shade of blue, almost shimmering in the dappled sunlight. The bird seemed to be looking directly at Pete, as if it had been waiting for him to notice.
The bluebird had something shiny in its beak. It glinted in the light, catching Pete's eye. He leaned in closer, trying to get a better look at the object.
It was Sammy's acorn. Pete recognized it immediately. Sammy, his best friend, had been searching for that acorn for days. It was no ordinary acorn. It was a special one that Sammy had found and cherished.
Look, Sammy, the bluebird has your acorn! Pete called out excitedly, his voice echoing through the forest. He knew how much this acorn meant to Sammy and couldn't wait to share the news.
Sammy looked up and saw his acorn. He was so happy. His little heart swelled with joy as he realized that his precious acorn had been found. The bluebird, still perched on the branch, seemed to understand the significance of its find. It chirped again, a cheerful sound that filled the air with a sense of celebration. As Sammy scampered up the tree to retrieve his acorn, Pete watched with a smile. The forest seemed to come alive with the happiness of the moment. Birds sang, leaves rustled, and the sunlight danced through the branches. It was a perfect day, made even more special by the surprise discovery. Sammy reached the branch where the bluebird sat. The bird gently placed the acorn on the branch and fluttered away, its mission complete. Sammy picked up the acorn, holding it close. He looked down at Pete and waved, his eyes sparkling with gratitude. Pete waved back, feeling a warm sense of satisfaction. He had helped his friend find something precious, and that made him feel good. The bond between Pete and Sammy was stronger than ever, forged by this small but meaningful adventure. As they made their way back home, Pete and Sammy talked about the bluebird and the acorn. They wondered how the bird had found it and why it had decided to bring it back. It was a mystery, but one that added to the magic of the day. The forest, with all its secrets and surprises, had given them a gift. And as they walked, they knew that this was a day they would always remember. The chirping of the bluebird, the joy of finding the acorn, and the happiness they shared would stay with them forever.
How do we get it back?
Let's ask the bluebird nicely.
Pete thought for a moment. He had an idea.
Excuse me, kind bluebird, that acorn belongs to my friend Sammy. Could you please give it back?
The bluebird looked at Pete and Sammy, then it chirped and dropped the acorn. Sammy quickly caught it. He was so thankful.
Thank you, bluebird. Thank you for helping me, Pete.
Sammy was overjoyed. He had his favorite acorn back. Pete learned a valuable lesson that day. He learned that even when things seem difficult, it's important to never give up. He also learned that asking politely can go a long way. It all started on a bright sunny morning when Pete, a curious and adventurous panda, decided to explore the forest. He'd heard stories about a hidden grove filled with the most delicious bamboo. Determined to find it, Pete set off on his journey, filled with excitement and anticipation. As he ventured deeper into the forest, the path became more challenging. The thick underbrush and towering trees made it difficult to navigate. Pete stumbled and tripped, but he refused to give up. He remembered the wise words of his grandmother, who always told him that perseverance is the key to success. With renewed determination, Pete pressed on. Hours passed, and Pete began to feel weary. Just when he was about to lose hope, he spotted a glimmer of light through the dense foliage. With a final burst of energy, he pushed through the last barrier and found himself in the hidden grove. The sight before him was breathtaking. Lush green bamboo swayed gently in the breeze, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of nature. Pete's heart swelled with joy and relief, but his adventure was not over yet. As he approached the bamboo, he noticed a group of pandas already feasting. Pete felt a pang of disappointment, but he remembered his grandmother's advice about politeness. Taking a deep breath, he approached the group and asked politely if he could join them. To his surprise, the pandas welcomed him with open arms. They shared their bamboo and even showed him the best spots to find the juiciest stalks. Pete realized that kindness and politeness could open doors that brute force never could. He spent the rest of the day enjoying the company of his new friends and feasting on the delicious bamboo. As the sun began to set, Pete knew that he had learned a lesson that would stay with him forever. No matter how tough the journey, perseverance and politeness could lead to wonderful rewards.
I'm happy that I could help my friend. It makes me feel good to be kind and helpful. Pete's journey taught me that being kind and polite not only makes others happy, but also brings joy to our own hearts. It's a lesson I will always cherish and remember.
Pete and Sammy continued to play in the bamboo forest. The sun shone brightly, casting a warm golden hue over the lush greenery. The birds sang sweetly, their melodies blending harmoniously with the rustling leaves. It was a perfect day, one of those rare moments when everything seemed to align just right, creating an atmosphere of pure joy and contentment. The bamboo forest was not just a place, it was a sanctuary where the worries of the world seemed to melt away, replaced by the simple pleasures of nature and friendship.
I know that I will always be there for my friends no matter what. This forest has taught me the true meaning of loyalty and companionship. Every time I look around, I see memories etched into the very fabric of this place. The laughter, the adventures, the quiet moments of reflection, all of these experiences have shaped who I am today. And I am grateful for every single one of them. The bamboo forest is more than just a backdrop to our lives. It is a living, breathing testament to the bonds we share.
And his friends would always be there for him too. The bamboo forest was a happy place filled with friendship and kindness. It was a place where everyone felt welcome, where the spirit of camaraderie was palpable. The animals of the forest, each with their unique quirks and personalities, came together to create a community that was as vibrant as it was diverse. There were the playful squirrels who loved to chase each other up and down the bamboo stalks, the wise old owl who always had a story to share, and the gentle deer who moved gracefully through the underbrush. Each day in the bamboo forest was a new adventure, a new opportunity to learn and grow together. The bonds formed here were unbreakable, forged in the fires of shared experiences and mutual respect. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Pete and Sammy knew that they were part of something truly special. They had found a home in the bamboo forest, a place where they could be themselves, surrounded by friends who loved and supported them unconditionally. And in that moment, as the last rays of sunlight filtered through the bamboo leaves, they felt a deep sense of peace and belonging. The bamboo forest was not just a happy place, it was a haven, a refuge from the outside world where the values of friendship and kindness reigned supreme. And as long as they had each other, Pete and Sammy knew that they could face any challenge that came their way. The bamboo forest had given them the greatest gift of all, the gift of true friendship.